Hey Paula, do you need anything in council chambers?
Yeah, that's what we need to do. Well, as long as it's warm enough outside, we'll be wonders outside here. We did.
$500.
Oh, shoot. I don't know. Because we did it when you did it.
Right, so
Right.
that's
I'm playing poker on Thursday. And maybe look at my calendar. And then I'm like,
I think the board's gonna need to sit up here so that people in the public can see you.
Come on in
Cassie,
if you
can you
can.
hear us?
Yeah, but I think you need to turn the video on.
Why
It's
did it
off.
turn on?
Where is
I don't know.
Okay, up there. So this table
Chair there.
is where you're aiming
Oh.
for. Cassie, what
There's
now?
no
Someone said, "Did I call him?"
That's you, boss.
Why did it turn
You
on?
just need to, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, what do I need to hit?
On the bottom, it should just like if it was your own video, you just gotta turn it on.
Oh, right. Oh, I see what you got there. Okay.
There you go.
Every time you get on.
Just so my
Alright,
paper
good now?
don't give you COVID.
Yep, now I can see them all and hear them.
Okay,
Yes,
so
you
how
need
do
to
I
go like
put this
this.
on
Okay.
speaker view so that, or is it already?
Well, the portable, you still-
How do you put it on what?
Never mind, I think it's on speaker view.
And just move it in front of you.
Sharon, can you
Alright.
talk? So I can you say something so I can hear you?
Hi, everyone. This is Sharon.
So when Sharon talks, you'll be able to see her. Hi there.
Hi there. Sorry
Hi.
for being remote, everybody.
We'll get started, 6:04, 6:03, somewhere in there. Your minutes. Everybody got some? Anything we need to change? Look at, discuss, or approve, just approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
All in favor?
Hi.
Anyone opposed?
Who's the second?
The Mayor.
Got it.
Miss Treasurer.
Beginning balance is $86,411.93. This month, there was 73 cents in interest, and our ending balance is $86,412.66. Do we want to talk about the current summary of spend now, or wait till we
No,
are
we might as well
discussing?
start with that.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna, let's get that approved first, though.
Motion to
Let's-
approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Now,
So
go
I,
ahead.
included in the packet was, our proposed budget from, for this fiscal year. And what I did was I broke it down to, the first section is the proposed budget and the current summary of the spend. So our, total revenues, $63,867.85 was what we estimated. Currently, what we've our expenditures that we estimated were 42,825 and 59 cents. Then our actual for what was proposed in the budget so far is our actual revenue is $65,041.25. And our actual expenditures based on that budget is $26,448.52. Now I added a section for items that were additionally added throughout the year. So those things that we voted on and added, that amount which we've added is another $9,397.50. And so far of that, we've spent $2,012.50. So at the end, I have a summary of the whole amount together. Our proposed budget, our additional items which we've added, our actual spend for both of those. And so our beginning balance, I didn't tell you the original beginning balance, but our beginning balance plus all the revenues in our current is $114,873.68. So far of that, we've spent $28,461.02 with an ending balance currently of what I had in the treasurer report, $86,412.66. Now, of that, we've also committed, we've committed in total expenditures, which would take us to an ending balance of $61,477.19. Questions?
Just to be sure that I understand. Basically, you run through and I understand all that, but the bottom line of it is we actually non-committed money have 61,000. At this point.
That's in this year's budget.
In this year's budget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you still have committed money, don't you, if it's in the budget?
Right, yes, and that's
Okay,
what,
so you have 66,000, but you still have committed money. What's,
That was
that's,
after, right?
that's after the committed.
okay, so
That's
that's,
what I wanted to
That's-
make sure I clarified,
that's-
that everything was in there with that balance at the bottom that we're looking
Yep,
at for this
yep.
fiscal
that
year.
includes that 9 grand or? what?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
it does,
yeah,
yeah.
that's,
$61,000 up to June 30th, and then we start.
and then we start the new.
We started new, yes.
That's the clarity.
And in our budget from which it's in our yearly budget, our face forward was, what was our number for that? Is it 10,000 or 15?
Give me a second, I'm
Yeah.
gonna-
$12,040.
$12,040, which is still outstanding.
Correct, we still owe,
Oh, that, yep, but that's included in this number.
correct.
Yeah.
But we've used all of it. We've used all of what we budgeted for phase forward.
We,
No,
I mean, how
Does
could
that-
you?
Do you mean, have you assigned
Well,
it?
for this
We-
fiscal year.
no, we're not done with our year yet.
Okay.
Our new budget is coming out. We're gonna have to make a new budget.
Right.
This is another thing that I think we need to look at. Depending on what we do with these that we have tonight. Adjusting our budget like we did last year, we adjusted it down, we'll say, okay? This year we may think about if, and depending on what we do with all these, if we maybe need to adjust it back up. The one reason is that I think there's more knowledge of what we do now. It just so happens that everybody figured it out. Well, they all figured it out in
the same time.
at the same time. Which is fine, at least everyone kind of knows now. But on the other end, it may mean that these people might get turned down, a bunch of them, maybe not, I don't know. But if they do, it doesn't mean that they can't come back. And then we need to make sure that in our budget, we might think of that when we build the budget, because the budget's coming like within the next month
Yeah.
or so.
I'm hoping to be on the next agenda.
Correct.
to talk
It
about
should be, and then we approve it in June, or send it to the city, and the city approves it in June. So it's something that you want to think about when we make maybe even these decisions or the decisions on what we'll do with the budget next month. Because that's what we're gonna do next month.
Mark, did you have public comment?
I did not.
I just wanted to know
And
if you
she's here.
wanted to go ahead and get that done.
Let's jump right to it. Lisa,
Okay,
go
I
go
think you got
ahead.
a lot on your plate tonight, so I'm not gonna take very much time.
Go ahead, fire away.
But
Before we get started, then go ahead.
yeah, so I think last month you guys had offered to actually help, fund the municipal park if I needed. I actually didn't have any problem with sponsors, so it only ended up one sponsor that you had to cover, and it ended up not 6 weeks, but 8 weeks. So I included over here, I think I have enough for everyone. The series, the grand opening is June 18th. And it is gonna start earlier, and we're gonna have a lot of festivities that night. So I wanna make sure that you're all, get your little calendars out, because it'd be nice to see a lot of people there. I think it's gonna be a big, what do I want to say? A fun night to thank people and appreciate what has happened to our city. That this lineup, really, I couldn't do this without the people being great sponsors. We have one sitting here. And also Jack is the one that really knows these people. And we are working on a flyer to kind of tell some of the activities that are going on. We are going to reveal your historical sign that you've been working on that night. There'll be a ribbon cutting at the amphitheater. There'll be thank yous, publicly to people that were involved. There'll be a food truck, actually 3 Wendy from Dairy Gen's coming, Cat Smoke Barbecue's coming, and a veg truck is coming. So far we have 3 food trucks coming. So there's probably gonna be some hula hoops out there for the kids and different things. We're still kind of working on that, but I just wanted to thank you guys for being so supportive, because that really did take a burden off my thought that we would be able to go forward even if I couldn't find sponsors. So I do appreciate that. So, but this is just my, you said check back in when I knew what, so that this is the direction, and I think, we've got the plan. So you guys are technically the sponsor for the last event of the season, August 13th.
And that was the only monies you needed then, was just that? Well,
Yeah, and I think our treasurer's already sent the invoice over to. Okay. So I don't know if there's any questions, but make sure if you didn't get one, I mean, this is a great lineup. There's lots of exciting stuff going on. We actually have somebody that was a native here, Rachel Rodriguez, that has moved to Nashville and has been in Nashville for the last 20 years, working a lot with the Grand Ole Opry, but also in the public library realm. I actually went down and met her, and that's exciting. She'll be a new person this year. The Stone Street Revival, the one that you guys are covering, is a new one this year. So we got Global Village coming back again. They were really fun. If anyone went to that, they kind of went through the play sets and all over the place. They were a big band. So anyway, I'm excited. So
Cool.
that's it, and I'll let you guys get to your.
Thank you, Gail.
busy. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thanks for the hard work.
yeah.
Good luck with all your decisions today. I do not envy you in any way.
Okay, so
So Mark, you asked a question about, have we spent the face forward? So we allocated the $12,040. We haven't paid any of that out yet, but it's allocated.
so it's been spent,
It's been spent essentially, yes.
and that is the whole entire budget,
Yes,
correct? So we're at 0 in our budget
for face forward.
for this year.
For current,
for
yes,
current year?
Yep.
Okay,
unless we vote to change.
well, that's what we're gonna try to accomplish here somehow, if you guys can want to figure it out somehow. I guess that's the thing that, if we do vote on any of these in the, yes, then we'll be going over our budget for last year. Okay, so we're gonna adjust that and then take in consideration if we do vote yes on any of them. And what gets voted no on, if it does, what it might take to get those accomplished next year. I mean, right now, there's 13, is it 12? It's 12. 12 of these buggers.
That's not right. Isn't it? Because the ones that we have allocated were last March, right?
Yeah, there's 12 on this.
12 new ones.
There's 12 new.
No, the 12,500.
Yeah, that is for the fiscal year that ends June
July.
30th.
For June 30th.
So we've got $12,000 we can allocate right now.
Yeah,
Correct.
that ends June 30th. And then our new budget starts July 1.
It hasn't been paid yet, but
Hasn't been
it's
paid.
over, but it's over.
To do.
Rosemary and
Geisler.
Giesler. Is there another one? There's 5, was that 5?
I think it's just those two that
Well,
we
see, they
have.
have
Then
till
there's-
November to finish the project, so it
Yeah.
goes into the other half of the year.
Correct.
So was that from last year's on the 2020 budget, or is that 2021?
It's 2021, July 1st, 20 to June 30th, 21.
I know when the budget is, but I'm saying
That's when,
the phase forward, because we're just now looking at the ones that are supposed to come in for March, right? So which fiscal year is this right here? This is for fiscal. year
This will be
2000.
2022.
So you're just trying to get that there's no money left over for 2021, but we're gonna put this on 2022.
Well, if we change the budget. Or, and if we vote on these.
Well, we haven't even done the budget, right, for 2022, so.
Correct.
or if we change the current budget. I mean, we've voted $9,397.50. We voted that into our budget of the current budget throughout this year.
But for the ones that we received last.
No, just in other things,
Other
just in
commitments.
other items.
And one of them was hers, correct?
Yes.
For what I think it was 6 grand.
Are you speaking of the movies?
Yes,
Yeah, it was 6,000 and she only used 1,000 of it.
correct. That was what the 9,000. We had allocated above and beyond whatever our
Do you
budget
have
items
this?
were.
It was in the packet, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
At the end of the day, we got $61,000 left after everything. accounted for.
Okay, correct, yeah.
So really, in basic essence, if we're standing here with a clean plate, I'm just doing the same thing Richard's doing. We have $61,000 that we can spend on phase forward programs if that was what we chose to do.
Correct.
Okay, for this year's budget. Now, next year, we haven't settled.
It wouldn't be for phase forward programs.
When people give us these applications, they're due by March, right?
Supposed to be correct,
They're gonna be for the next budget.
correct.
They're usually for the
Okay.
next
All right.
budget.
So this is, you're just using these for budget planning as a simple way for the next time, but we could potentially say, well, with this project and this project, let's do that out of this year's funds. Then it would become part of the approved $12,400 in projects you've already approved. Not paid, but you've approved those projects or accepted them, right?
It would be added on to, correct.
Got it.
Yeah, it's pretty rare that someone seeks reimbursement in the fiscal year.
Right.
That we award.
That we award.
Right. It's usually not November.
I don't know really how you guys want to do this, or how to do it other than just do it one at a time and which would be tough to do, but,
Should there be some ground rules?
well,
about them first?
Cassie put together a little thing for myself to go over on what maybe some ground rules would be.
Okay.
And in the normal,
I gave you guys that spreadsheet in your package, so this is something that you.
the normal ground
No, the
rules
ground
were,
rules.
one, they had to be turned in at a certain time, which we kind of threw that out the window. So that's why we ended up with 4. 2, let's just say it's basic, but you're supposed to get some bids, turn them in with your packet and show what the bids are. And then basically make a decision on who it is you're going to hire, or if you're going to do it yourself, which you wanted to do. I did it myself. Whatever the cost was gonna be.
Did we solve the budget issue then? Because I feel like the 2 that we're waiting on are for this budget, and these will be for next budget. Does that make sense?
These are for next budget unless they decide to vote something into this
Right.
budget. Right, yep.
Right.
And I didn't get a packet, Paula. You have extra ones? or
I
no?
thought I heard Cassie was talking down the phone. You didn't ask me to print one.
No, I started printing it up and I ran out of
Oh,
paper
well,
for my printer,
yeah,
but that's okay.
The way,
and I don't
she-
really have an extra one.
Okay,
the way she kind of laid this out was basically a completed application form. So then, you know, each one that was in here or is in here was either a yes or no. So if it got completed properly, right from the get, you either got a yes or no. And if you take what she has here, there is 4 that are just to start, are not completed, correct?
Which for,
So we're gonna go,
You want to mention names and applications, you want to put letters on them and then move forward to them that way.
no, the name is fine, I think. I mean, so Butler, 308 West Grand River was a no, and then Lancor with his 3 were all no's.
I think
And-
Sharon has something she wants to say.
And then Jelnik was also a no. So that makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 then, correct?
So how were they incomplete? Can you just, without too much detail, just in general, what was basically missing on the application that you saw? Because I didn't catch it. I'm just curious.
If you look at the application, some of them didn't even fill in the amount that they wanted. So that would be incomplete. So we said, yes, it's completely completed, or no, it's not. And you guys can determine on your own if it was completed or not. We were just trying to give you something to look at.
And that would be just one thing. if there's no
Well,
rest.
that's okay. If I could just, sorry to jump in. I hope it's okay.
That's all right, go ahead.
Like you're here.
I went through these carefully. I didn't read the details on like paint and awnings and all that stuff, but I did go through and carefully try to figure out whether they had at least 2 bids. And I like the approach that you took. First of all, did they fill out the application correctly? That's a point. Did they have at least 2 bids? And I only found 3 of them that actually had 2 bids on them. And none of those are the ones that failed the application. I mean, you know, the ones that you just mentioned, like Butler didn't even have a bid, really. And then Landcor only had 1 bid. And then the clothesline, they had 1 bid. And you just said that they also didn't really fill out the application. So right away, I feel like we could just simplify the list right there. That's half the list.
By eliminating each of those, do you think?
Yeah, I say eliminate the ones that you just said did not fill out the application correctly. And I can also say that on my list, they also did not have 2 bids. They either had no bid, they just put together a piece of paper with their own estimate and put their name under it, or they only had 1 bid. And they had maybe a note saying, we're waiting on a second bid, or we're hoping to get a second bid, but we still don't have a second bid as of the agenda packet that was sent out a week ago. We still did not have a second bid. The 3 that have 2 bids are Wood Hull Apartments Adam Goetschke, I can't say his last name, I apologize. And then the Liskey property at 120 West, so John Liskey. And I apologize if I'm being bad with these names. And then Budnick Insurance Group, I think maybe had 2 bids, but I was really unclear on that one about whether the work was already done or already being done. So then that raised a question about, can they apply for work that's already underway or recently completed, or they're already saying it's going to be done regardless? So Budnick, I had a question mark next to that one. The rest of them have either 0 or 1 bid. They don't even have 2 bids, and that's a very clear requirement. What's not a requirement is whether it's landscaping or building or property improvement. So I'm correcting myself from the last meeting where I was talking about, hey, maybe we should look at things that are permanent improvements to buildings. Actually, that's not a requirement. If they want to do landscaping, it's pretty clear that that qualifies. So I'll stop talking. Sorry.
Sharon, you did make a good point, I think, on the fact of was the work started and planned before they ever applied? I don't know if we take any of that into consideration on some of these bids, because some of them are for the full amount that were done a year ago. Okay, and that's commercial property, more than I'm speaking of this.
This chart means absolutely nothing other than we were just trying to give you something
To go by.
Yeah.
And something to try to figure out a somewhat fair way, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
Two pages and 24 print would have been better.
Oh, yeah, I know. I said, Cassie, how am I supposed to read that?
Hmm.
Give me another one. Oh, fine. So I can have one here.
I don't, there's one thing that I think that maybe I felt after the last meeting, and it was just what I felt, is that I don't know why this bug or whatever that we've had, but it's kind of changed the way it seems like everyone thinks that we need to just throw all the money at it, okay? That's the way I felt. Doesn't mean that's what you were thinking or anything like that. I'm just telling you the way I felt. And the thought was, we'll just pay them all. We'll just give them all the money, which isn't a bad idea because it's their money to begin with anyway. And we're supposed to do that. The one thing I wanted to try to remember is that we don't have to pay the city anymore for once. We're caught up. We finally have paid our bill. And it's a large amount that we've been paying to them every year. 12, 13, 15 grand, and then another 7 or whatever, so 18, 20 grand a year.
I'd like to state you weren't paying the city, you were paying the bill for the bonds.
Okay, well, we were paying off what we had bonded. I mean, yeah, it was going to the
Clarify
city.
that.
So for the first time, we've actually got a little leeway on, I don't want to call it saving money because we're not supposed to really save it, but we have leeway on trying to get a little bank account that would make a little more leverage to do a bigger project, or a bigger bank account that would just do a bigger project. Or we get rid of 40 grand and we give everybody the money. And in my opinion, just my opinion again, I thought that it was getting a little too, we're just gonna, so it doesn't mean that we can't send them a small letter if we want to refuse any of them, whoever it is, and say we're a little over budget. We would appreciate if you applied next year, and please, go over the rules of engagement and send it again, and we'll look at it next year. Just a thought.
And a reminder to provide 2 estimates from professional licensed contractors. that a write-up of their own internal estimate of what they think it's going to cost to do the work themselves doesn't quite qualify.
And it shouldn't either, because we really don't know what that cost is, and they could come to us with, we could pay a portion of this too, up to the $5,000, right? So whatever that number is, if I'm given a guess, they're gonna guess high and get high. And you don't even know if that's literally the true amount. I mean, so the reason they kind of put that in there is so that you have some paperwork to say, listen, this is what I'm gonna pay, or this is what's gonna cost me. And here's the receipts and bills, and I'm looking for some help. Can you help me with some of it? And if it ends up being the full 5,000, that's fine. But at least you've got a check or a balance to go against it. So to weed them out quickly, I think that this is a good way to do that. By meaning that if the application wasn't correct to begin with, we don't need to give them excuses on why we vote any way we vote. Okay, that's the other thing. So don't feel pressured or bad in any way on if you do vote to say that they don't get any money, or that we vote them out to not continue.
And I think because people are starting to realize, I guess, I made a statement last month where everybody, the sleepy areas woke up. They know that what we're doing now. And the whole bottom line of that is we still have the same criteria that we started with 2 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago with the Face Forward program. It's the same rules and regulations that everybody's followed in the past. We always have that room to adjust, but with this kind of a list, I believe honestly, we have to adhere to some of the guidelines that we put in the first place.
I agree. Okay, so let's take is it 5? Am I correct? Are you guys on board with the 5 that I have come up with? At least for the right from the beginning. So we would go Butler is going to be out. Delanick is going to be out. And then Lancor with his 3 will be out.
And why was John out?
Yes, and
Not completed.
Incomplete application to start out with.
Okay.
So that's just the first thing. That's how we're taking those ones.
And then I would, again, I'm recommending that we can simplify it even more by eliminating the others that don't even have 2 bids.
That don't have 2 bids, which I agree again with that.
I do too.
And that is on the list, on this nice summary that was done for us. I've been using that.
We sent people the rules and we just stated, look, the only thing that we're not, gonna enforce is the deadline.
Right.
The deadline to get them to us. But the rules say that the DDA will not fund projects that have begun construction at the time of the application. And people called me and said, hey, can I start this? And I said, the rules technically say no. I mean, I don't know. You guys can overrule that. You can change it, you can do whatever you want, but I will tell you that I do tell people that.
So let me tell you which ones I noted. So Richard Darr, D-A-R-R, I saw maybe barely one really good bid. And then Expert Lawn and Snow, I think that's supposed to be Expert Smith, Expert Lawn and Snow. It says in the notes that there were 2 bids for windows and 3 for paint, but in the agenda packet, I could only find 1.
They brought one in since then, I think.
I say there was 2 bids there. The way I understood that is there was 2, but they didn't line up or match up. It didn't make any sense to me.
Well, it was one firm bidding for 2 different pieces of work, and I didn't.
Correct. It was the same firm, and one was doing windows and one was doing the painting, but they were 2 different prices. And then the price that he had tried to acquire was another different price.
And all the top windows were put on way longer ago.
Yeah, so we're still looking for a second bid on that one.
He's got 6 windows and he put in 6 months ago.
And then Weeman, W-E-H-E-N-M-A-N, barely had one bid, really. And then Tim Leonard had one bid. So there's only 3 that had 2 bids. Again, it's Woodhull Apartments, Liskey, and Budnick. And then I had a question mark next to Budnick on whether the work's already been done, where it's already contracted, it's already underway. It seemed to imply that the work would be done in June. So, gosh, can you apply for money to pay back for work that's already been done? That's still a question.
I don't like that guy.
But you have, the only building was done with the other building, correct?
This is the side, wasn't it?
I just put the awning on, pretty much all we did so far.
Did you have 2 bids? Do you know?
Yeah.
Yes? You're in here as having the project quotes. There's 5 that we have on this that have 2 quotes. So Budnick, Dar, Getchy, and Liskey. That's the one we were just talking about.
Dar only had 1 bid, I thought, barely.
I thought I saw 2 last.
It's not even I kind of had a question about whether it even qualified as a bid, if I can find it.
What's your question about it, Sharon?
Let me look at it again.
There were 2 bids for windows for Dar.
Two
Is that you?
pieces, 2 different pieces.
Oh, okay, well, I think what it was I had the sense that they were just buying materials from Leg and then doing the work themselves.
That's correct.
And that is,
And I am a licensed builder.
Okay,
And he can do the work himself. That's fine.
okay, so that's 1 bid. Who's the second bidder?
The second bid is with the packet.
There's 2 in there.
there's one from.
There- Okay, so the second one is from Menards?
One's from Menard, one's from Lowe's. Or, I'm sorry, one,
Leg.
there's a Menard and a Lowe's for some of the material, and then there's a leg lumber. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I would change that to a 2 then, if you guys are comfortable with the building owner doing the work themselves and providing a list of materials purchased from a retail store, if that,
Which is what he's supposed to do, as long as he shows the receipts showing that he's not paid for it, then he's covered.
okay, I'm convinced. I'll change that one to a 2.
Understand is that once the project is complete, we see the receipts, somebody does, right,
Right.
on the
When
DDA.
they sign up.
Somebody reviews the receipts and the completed project.
Correct.
So we don't just like blind, just write them a check. We gotta go make sure the work was done.
Either
Right.
the invoice from the contractor that
Yeah.
did the work or the invoice from the material for
So
the.
somebody on the DDA will check and make
They have
sure.
they have to literally pay for all that themselves, and then they're just getting reimbursed. And to get reimbursed, you basically have to have the receipts and showing the work is done.
Mike, are you guys hot?
Yeah.
But there's
There's nothing,
right behind.
there's nothing that says that they can't do the work themselves.
There's
So
nothing,
I think
yeah,
that's what
they can
this
literally do
question-
the work themselves.
You just turn it right off.
Yep.
It's just for that little electric heater down there.
So we're pushing one to one this way.
I got you.
Okay,
Thank you. Okay, but still, I think, so let's just check the others. Leonard, I think really has just 1 bid. And then what about Weeman? I'm trying to find which number that one was. I've got them all here. Weeman, item number 10. Let me check that one. Yeah, they were gonna do the work themselves. They've got estimates from Sherwin-Williams for paint. Renting a forklift, but they're really saying they're doing the work themselves. So are they a licensed contractor to do that? Does that qualify? And if it does, even if it qualifies, it's still just 1 bid.
They do not have to be a licensed builder to do their own work.
Or but that one looks like it started.
It is.
Yes.
That is. the big
It
thing,
is.
he's already started his project also.
And some of the receipts, after you really look at them closer, back to 19. That he's presenting to us. It is for the project, but,
Okay, so that one's maybe 1 bid. So that doesn't quite have two bids.
Right.
Mhm.
And the other one is expert. So let's look at expert snow real quick. Just check that one. Challenging myself. If you guys tell me I'm crazy.
That was the one I didn't really
I
understand
don't
either.
like it at all.
I saw it was
Where is expert snow?
2 bids and then the money was different. It didn't make any sense to me, but I could be not reading it correctly.
That's the stuff.
Correct.
Well, I'd be
Yeah, like,
curious to
it
know.
added
what
up to like
happened.
12
I guess it's
12,000
happened
something, and then the
last
Number that he was asking for didn't match either the
August.
2
I
bids
didn't read
either.
that. I know, I even asked Kathy,
Mark,
what am I missing here?
One bid.
he submitted a separate paint bid later and he altered it on an email. If you look on his form that I gave you, I
Okay,
hand wrote on the very first page,
This application.
on his application, it says altered amount due to email.
oh,
I guess. So what I'm hearing is there are two bids. Is that right then? We have two
Yes.
bids on
just
that?
for email attached. Yep, so there is 2, the window and paint. And then there's an email must be in here too. Yes, all right,
All right, so that means we have 1, 2, 3, there's 5 out of the whole list, there's 5 that have 2 bids and filled out the application correctly.
This one here is a bid for each project. It's not 2 bids for each project. You have windows and you have
and then this email was $17,670 total. I'm assuming that's,
labor, materials, power wash and paint all brick, block, exterior surface on the building sides and rear of the building. Labor and materials to replace 14 existing windows. At $9,800. And this top windows is, I could be wrong, but I think they were put in about last September. On the top floor. Before winter hit.
they've already been done, right?
Right. And he's just done the bottom windows. They finished them out like 2, believe. Because I've been looking. And it's almost a complete project, other than the painting. That's the thing that made me wonder is like, okay, the windows that they were put in, let's just say even October. That's the last year. And they're gonna submit a bill to us to help pay for that part that they've already put in. I can see maybe about half of the windows downstairs because it was a different situation, but I'm not sure about the whole project. That's a big bite.
Yeah.
To
here it's-
qualify it, say,
It's 17,670.
Are you still talking about
Smith
expert?
still?
yes,
So his,
On this application, it's 7,953.
right,
That doesn't make any sense.
see, the paperwork is-
Either way, he's already started.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the windows-
I would say there's too many question marks in this.
I'm not, you won't get more vote from me on it.
I think there's just too many question marks in this.
EDA reserves the right to select a project that it believes meet the purposes and intent of the program and has the right to reject any and all proposed projects.
Period.
All you need to know.
That's it. Do we want to take him out of at least the running?
Yes.
Yes?
Well, I just feel like if you get an application and you can't figure out what you're looking at from the get-go, that's just, I mean, as a business owner, I didn't apply because I couldn't give you an application that was complete.
There's a pretty good chance you can't figure it out. There's a pretty good chance you wouldn't win. I mean, if we can't figure it out, we can't figure it out. Let's take that one off. And now we're down to 4, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, and I still,
Getchy, Dar, and Leonard?
yeah, but can we, I'm sorry, is Budnick still on the list?
Yes.
Okay, so can
You
we?
had him as only having one bid, but he had two? He had two.
Yes, but I'm confused about whether the work's already completed. I mean, the second page of the application says the work's,
The
well,
awning,
at least underway, and I'm just confused, like,
I can probably figure out, I don't know.
I just wanted to answer the question.
As far as,
The awning,
The time frame of it.
yeah, they were gonna start the awning in January, and they were gonna start the siding tomorrow.
well, the siding hasn't been ordered, so I doubt it is gonna be that fast, but I would get it done as soon as I could,
No, you have till November anyway.
right?
well, if you get it by November.
Well,
Probably good
that's
that-
something that we haven't crossed yet, is what about building supplies?
I think it's
People can't
at
get
least
it, you
8
know.
weeks for it.
Where are you at on yours?
I hoping on Monday.
Hoping?
Yes.
No, that tell you what, that word's become a very large four-letter word
Yes.
lately.
Believe me. Yes, indeed.
I think it comes down to a question, sorry to persist, but I think it comes down to a question is if, can they apply for reimbursement of funds already spent?
According to our.
Yes,
It says no.
no? Well, how do you,
The DDA will not fund projects that have begun construction at the time the application is made.
yeah, well, we have done it before.
I'm just saying that's.
Yes,
That's the
Okay.
guideline.
You just have to decide how, if right now you're gonna say, yep, because that's what you talked about with the house that's half painted.
And
So
that,
Correct.
and
you
that's
either
a-
gotta
yeah.
decide, are you gonna allow that or aren't you in this round?
right.
I
Right.
think we have to stick to the rules. I'm sorry if we've broken the rules in the past. We didn't have 12 applicants in the past.
But you're gonna narrow it down and then you can always go back and
Right.
look at the two that have already started, because it is a shame, in my opinion, to watch the house that's already started painting. This is I'm gonna like segue a little bit. I as a business owner, I think that this is the first program I've seen that's really helped residential homes. There really aren't any. There really aren't very many programs like there are for businesses, grants and all. So this program's pretty cool because I've never really seen anything like this.
We've had,
I did some Googling in other towns and stuff though, and residential programs or grant programs, even through their municipalities, are almost unheard of. It all goes to businesses. So that's what I thought was kind of cool about this one.
That's what we've been talking about in our new plan.
Yeah.
Right, keep that
Because
in there.
yeah, it is easy. It is much easier for businesses to obtain this kind of funding and grants than it is for.
that's why we were trying to get
Right, so if
those,
you wanna say you don't want to eliminate those right now just because they've already started the project, I mean, you guys can look at, you
Yeah.
can do it any way you
Well, you
want.
could axe
Just
it
have
and
to
then
be
move on and then
consistent.
go back. And
Yeah,
and
you
you
just
could
can't,
list
you
that
just
one
can't
rule.
turn one down because they started and
You'd have to
then fund
be-
another one because,
Right.
you know.
So you could say no at the moment and look at the rest and how much money that is, and then go back and say, okay, well, let's just take away that one guideline of the project has begun. And when do you want to encompass that date wise? Is that within the last year? Or, I mean, you kind of probably have to have some limitations, but
And I think I'm the only private citizen that's ever got a face forward.
I think we've had four. I was just trying to think. I think we've had
You have the
four.
list there, I think.
I think it's. cool.
Yeah.
My dad got one. For siding on that White House down there. On the Church Street.
Okay.
I can remember a lot of them. When we set the program up and discussed it, that was actually, I think in all honesty, if I remember correctly, the businesses were definitely on our list of being able to help, but we were looking at the residential too, because we do have a lot of historic homes, older homes, and there's several on Grand River that we know that the people can't afford to spend a dime. And if they could get somebody to do their paperwork or whatever, that was what we were referring to, that residents could make their home more appealing on Main Street, because that's where the DDA district is, as well as the businesses, we were accomplishing something. And I believe the point that you're stating and going, I'm all for, because some of these jobs, I hate, application not is one thing, exceptions one thing. But we are trying to make Main Street look as good as we can, and we have to start looking a little broader on what we can step into now. And there are some tricks to all that, I believe, these folks have started, but it's paint, it's Main Street, it's this historic home. My biggest question would be is even if we did, can we get it done by November, or are we gonna extend it, because they can't paint in the winter. See, you got a lot of extenuating circumstances on some of these. But I am open to any suggestions and going that way, anyone can see it. But I think we got a good start. I mean, really, we have to stick to the guidelines to some degree. If we don't have good paperwork, we just can't go off of it. If we do, then we can work with it.
Yeah, there's only one. That's you, Greg. I was thinking there was 4. I don't know. But that, you were down there and got it, and you moved up here and got it. Well, there's 2, but it's the same.
My dad
person.
got it from Church Street. The siding.
But it has you as Culpepper, so I'm thinking.
It wasn't me.
Right, wasn't
It
you.
was my dad.
So there's 2. Martin, I think that one is the only other one, so there's 3.
So it has been very slim on residential, but they haven't applied.
Which, yeah, none of them, and that was our whole theory, was to try to tell those people that it's not just for businesses, it's for those residential homeowners in the district. Okay. Let's go back to Leonard and see if do we want to leave him in or out?
Now,
Well, Leonard has,
We didn't,
No.
No, you didn't have to.
okay,
he only has one bid.
so he is out, correct?
He's out for now.
Yeah, because he didn't have any idea.
Yeah, I don't think, well, he had his own bid, so he's basically saying he's the contractor and that he's licensed, he's gonna do the work himself.
no, that's not what this paperwork is behind there.
Yeah, yeah,
Somebody waiting for an estimate for professional to paint it, and they haven't got it to him.
So we haven't got it.
And he's waiting for an asphalt estimate, which no one will come out and give him one. So they say.
So are we at 3 now? If we do Liskey, Getchy, and Putnick, is that correct?
we're at 4.
And Dar, so 4.
4, and then you got possibly
And
1
then-
if
If you go back to the,
if you want to
Unpainted
consider,
house.
yeah, if you want to consider. And that's. It's this-
it's
I have-
to West Grand River.
Very
I have 5. Oh, we took off expert snow. I'm sorry. Yep, we have 4 without expert snow.
We have 4, correct?
4.
Okay, do we want to? Okay, what are those 4 in money? Does anybody?
All together, you mean?
Yes,
He's scratching.
then that way it could help us.
Will be 20,000 if they were at the max, so.
Yeah, they're not all from that.
15.
Okay, so project cost minus.
So where is it?
15,000.
Or is it? So we need the differences. Yeah, so we could figure them out. So the first one would be 1,776.
It's basically all 4 is almost exactly 15,000.
Or doesn't it say in their application what they're asking for?
It
Not on
doesn't
this
say our portion.
On this it does, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes. Thanks, Mark. This is 4560.
Be 1776 for the DAR, 3640 for Bunyan, 4560 for Getchy.
Got you.
No, what was the other one listed?
Listed 5,000. Is that the right number?
That looks good on. Mhm.
So you came up with what is it total?
$14,976.
15,900.
14,976.
14976. I'll do it again.
Four.
That's for four.
That includes Bud Mix.
And 50 cents.
Yeah, Adam gets you 50, got 50 cents in there.
Almost 15,000.
Yeah, just shy of 15 grand, basically, $4, a little less.
So we locked in people even if they started, right, to be clear?
No, because that would put Wenneman back in.
No, they didn't have two quotes, did they?
Yes, but they had already started, so they got kicked out. So essentially, we did kind of kick Budnick out. Sorry. Sorry,
But
Budnick.
Getchy did his too.
See,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is something that everybody needs to understand.
Did
that
she
Some
have
of these
as
people
well?
were gonna do a project anyway, but they found out about it, so
I agree.
they started after they applied though.
No, but I just think you guys need to be, that's why I asked. the
One way or
question.
the other.
Right, yeah, I mean, if you
Yes.
want people in because they already
Then we
started
have
or
to
you want
count
them
one
out,
out.
because you just need to decide.
We have two in that started and one that we've kicked out that started because they started.
Is that the
Okay, so
only reason?
Getchy and Budnick
Yes.
have started and they're in.
Yeah, because they had a complete application and they had two quotes, but we said it started.
So the people with meetings, they
If
did have
we
two quotes. or
don't-
they
It
did?
says yes.
It says yes.
Okay.
So they would
Yeah,
have to,
so I would think you want to put them back. up.
they should have.
So roughly 15,000.
Well, you need
They're
to
still
put,
And then,
redoing some.
well, we figure we need to put the house back in.
If you put the house back in, you're
Then you're
at
at
20
20.
grand.
4298 is theirs.
The interesting thing is if these,
19.
says this quote doesn't seem to align with the cost. That's the thing that's unusual.
Where is this
Mark,
at?
so we're at the water, what is it?
Wenneman?
Wayman,
Wayman.
Wayman, what about it?
can you, I don't have the whole packet. I only have their applications with me.
Total project cost, 6140.
Right, but what are their quotes? Because I see their quotes is $750 and $740.17 are the two quotes. But then the project cost is over $6,000, so,
Must be labor.
Because I don't think they have. all
but
the
there's,
quotes.
it doesn't
the only
show
quote they have
an
is for the
estimate.
equipment.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
but Wayman only has one bid. I mean, having a bid for an excavator. and
Okay,
bid
all right, so
for
that's
paint.
why, I thought it was because it started.
Right, so they already, they
Yeah.
bought the paint, but I
Yeah.
think the only bid they had was for the piece of equipment that they need or whatever.
Yeah,
Correct.
they're estimating on their own what they understand
Okay.
and the rest, what the
Then-
cost will be, such as they're painting, they're saying it's gonna cost 2640 for painting. They're saying the estimate for best guess for the porch repairs and steps is 3,000.
Okay.
So
Yep, I understand. I'm caught up now. I'm sorry. And I agree then that they don't have the quotes that match what they're saying the
Because
project cost is.
you had 3 different estimates and they didn't.
So we have
line up.
4.
We were confused on his application. So if you add that one in, we're at 20.
Yeah, but the quotes don't match up.
They really don't
They
even
don't
have.
have the,
They don't have a bid. They don't have two bids. We just disqualified a bunch of the
Okay.
others for
We're
not
gonna
having.
take them out.
they just don't
Yeah.
have any estimates.
Okay.
They have a printout for a rental place, but that's not necessarily, that's a price, but that's not a bill saying, yeah, you're gonna rent it. And
So back to 14,976.
So that's your total amount if we vote yes on 4 of them.
correct.
Okay, so now at least you know your amount also. And they are a little different. The highest one is the 5,000, correct? And only one of them is 5,000, that's Liskey. Okay. The rest are under the 5,000. Can we just take those 4 and vote on them? Yes?
Does this, what does this do to our budget? I mean, does this put us into a dangerous spot at all? Are we voting them in for this year? And should we be worried about that, or are we okay? I know we talked about it when we started, but it was still a little unclear about, if we spend 15,000 additional funds this year, is there any red flags?
So the thing that I think that we have to look at when we think about that is their end date. So we have two that are end dates within this fiscal year. And we have two that are end dates that would be in next fiscal year. So I think that also gives us some flexibility too, to say, if we were to vote on all four of these, that two, maybe we are in this fiscal year, because that's when they've said they're gonna complete. And the other two are in next fiscal year as far as budget wise. It's a possibility.
This says June. What is the other one? 'Cause did you say
May
June
21st.
Oh, yep.
So both of those may ask for payment, to be reimbursed in the current fiscal year. Well, it's, we could.
It'd be about $10,000.
Because we want to establish the budget first. And then put the
Well, and they don't have to get done until November of next year.
and then that way they gave us a buffer to use next year's fund if we get.
So right now it's Mr. Getchy, Mr. Dodd, Mr. Liskey, and
Mr. Bud.
okay.
So do we think that we want to vote on them as a whole or each one individually?
I guess we can. We should do it individually. Each one. Is it, yeah, we have to do it each one.
And do we want to divide them between budget fiscal years?
No, it doesn't matter, because
Okay,
it doesn't matter. They don't have to have them done until November. Or if they got them done right now and they got the receipts and they're done and we inspect it and it passes, then they get their money.
got it.
I mean, as long as they've already paid for it too, it's fine.
I'm not questioning it, I'm just.
Right.
We're all
clarifying.
trying to make sure we understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to all
I'm
get
just
it right, which is
clarifying
good.
that, challenging.
I think we should just do them one at a time and we'll just vote on them and then move on. And that's that.
Like each one or just the four?
Those four.
Okay.
The other ones are out.
Got you.
So we're not voting on them or doing anything with them. They're just rejected.
So just motions to accept
Motion to accept
one by one.
DAR. That is the first one on this list, so I'm gonna use DAR. So let's get a motion for DAR's or to accept DAR's application.
So,
We got a motion and a second.
Who was the second, Mayor?
me,
Yes.
yes,
Is there any more comment on this application? Any more comment on this application specifically? The DAR? No? Okay, let's vote. All in favor? Let's do a, we're spending money.
Yeah.
Let's do a roll call. Plus, some people aren't here, so, I mean, she's here virtually. Let's do it that way. Go ahead, Paul.
Budnick,
You
Yep.
can't vote.
Um,
I'm sorry, you can.
I thought that's why we did them individually.
yeah.
I was thinking of ours.
New rules starting right now.
Now, watch it,
Let's try this again.
watch it when it comes to him, I'll say, I don't vote.
Strictly for order.
Yes.
Shinsky,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Ridsdale,
Yes,
Woods,
Yes,
Dar,
Abstain.
There we
and
go.
then Mark, are you voting?
I'm not
Okay.
voting.
See? I told you.
Okay, so that one's carried. And now we're gonna do Butnick.
Okay, so Budnick,
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other comment on the Butnick application? No, let's call a roll call.
Budnick. He's gonna
Abstain.
abstain, correct? Conklin,
Yes.
Shinsky.
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Ridsdale,
Yes,
Woods,
yes,
Dar.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to Getchy.
Motion approved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other comments for the Getchy application?
Does everybody know where it's gonna be? Right?
Yep,
Across the road.
right there. Okay, go ahead. Let's get a roll call.
Budnick,
Yes.
Conklin,
Yes.
Shinsky,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Ridsdale,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes,
Star.
Yes.
Okay, you said that, what property it was. You think, well, sometimes you don't think about it, you just don't register.
So this is the fourth Liskey, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I get a motion?
A motion.
We have a motion and a second for Liskey's application. Is there any other comments on that application? We'll roll call
Budnick,
Yes.
Conklin,
Yes.
Shinsky,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Culpepper,
Yes.
Ridsdale,
Yes.
Woods,
yes,
Star.
Yes.
vote. That one's good. Okay, those have all been taken care of.
So my question would be, who, like, I know Jeff Thomas used to be our person, who's the one contacting people and doing all that?
Well, we need to appoint someone. Any volunteers?
If no one else wants
You-
to.
Mr. Mayor wants to try to take that on.
That's, I mean, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
I was just wondering, I'm like, somebody needs to contact these
Yes,
people, and probably the people that didn't get it. We should at least let them know.
And then that was my next thing is if we can make a letter to each of them who didn't get it to please reapply and
Like this year, or I mean, how do
no,
you?
next year.
Finish the app and get to bids.
Yeah,
That was the
try to
question I was
get,
gonna
try to get
ask.
bids in
A complete.
a complete application for next year and apply by March 31st of next year. We
Okay.
appreciate your interest. Can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I'll get to it next week.
Perfect.
Next week, I thought it'd be about Memorial Day, when I do it.
Not too bad.
Cloud?
That was a lot better than I had.
Again, something to try to think about, and I know maybe this is just me, but seems like I've sat on this board forever, which it seems like forever, but it doesn't seem like we've ever had any leverage. And the leverage is money, period. I mean, isn't it always? Our best leverage was the bill that we paid the city when we got all of that work done and borrowed money to do a huge project. And it was cool. And we got to pay it back, which is cool. And it's still there and all of that. But to maybe try to save a little bit, not that, I think we need to have maintenance done always. The flowers, that stuff, I'm cool with that. It's just part of the budget. Right. And I talked to Dave before we came here about anything he needed, and he said, no, not yet, but, I got some things coming. So, we can take care of him, which he really hasn't asked for much the last 2 years. Whereas before they usually had something they were always wanting, which was fine. That's what we're here for. But if we can try to maybe save somehow or another, meaning focus on one of those projects that you're thinking of that's like $100,000 or something in that neighborhood. It's a little more eye-catching, it's more of a splash, whatever. Just think about it, because we're gonna put the budget together, and these applications are great because now we got interest. I don't think that's bad. And it's tax money that they're paying. And if we can help them get the house painted, if we can help them make it look better, like Mike says, there's nothing better than driving through. You need to bring it up, but you go through Fowler, you drive through that community, it's impressive. And you drive through PW, it's impressive. And the reason it is because they all take care of their stuff. And if we can help, those people, not business. That's what it's for. So,
I think the secret to it is remember, we are a community.
yep,
That's it.
we can't go outside of our district, of course, but what's in our district, we can help take care of.
I think that, you know, if you go through downtown Langsburg, it's pretty phenomenal.
It's getting so, I mean, it's changed so much. It's
Yeah,
changed
go
so
back 20
much.
years and,
I moved here 22
Yeah.
years ago.
I mean, look at that, you know, I mean, the building that Aaron already painted, it looks great, you know, what you guys have done, Amanda, for that building and what Rosemary's done, you know, I mean, our Main Street is really, you know, I mean,
the hut looks
I think
like
that
it's an open business again, and
Yeah,
very
I
clean,
mean-
neat, well, I mean, it's just,
we still have
so
some
much
work to
better.
do. I mean,
Oh,
we
there's
have,
no
we have
doubt.
a few places that, you know, we still need to get to, but I agree that the residential probably needs to move up the ladder a little bit, because we do have some houses that, you know, they just need a facelift.
and a lot of times they don't know that this is here, and if they say, well, I got $2,500, but I don't have $7,500. Well, you can get it done, you know, and it's your own money, man, come get it.
The disadvantage, I think, to some applicants, such as maybe in one or two other ones that are in there, is the work that they need to be done is only in a certain amount of time that can be done.
Yep.
And that makes it tough, the way our economy is and the way the contractors are, is like they said, they couldn't get anybody there. And you notice you can't get anybody to bid on anything anymore.
But the best thing about this is we have this problem,
Yeah.
because we've never really had that.
We never
much.
have.
Not like this.
And you can always invite those people back. And
Oh,
if you decide at some point as a whole to lift that requirement of projects that have started or even completed, because they did apply and because of the issue we have with supply and demand, you could still look at some of those people that did maybe complete them, that want to come back and apply. Because a lot of those people, maybe those projects may be completed by March of next
There was
year.
another project that I had just told her when I came in, and I kept thinking about her. She sat on this board for 10 or 12 years. And she had come to us with a small project down here in town, across from the gas station, to do a little landscaping blocks and whatever around that corner. And we didn't really reach out and help her. She went, we got it done, and it looks really good. We were concerned about the color, the matching, and I mean, it's done, and it looks nice. It's a lot better than it was. We didn't really help her at all. She was, like I said, she sat on the board for 10 years. It doesn't mean that we can't, I mean, you don't have to go through a specific, you can come to us. We painted Mark's side of his building that needs it again now. Used to be O'Byrne's, now it's, that whole side of that building got painted. I mean, we spent $1,500 or, and it, tell me, driving into town,
No, geez.
and that impressive. Over in Williamston, been working over there lately, and they have almost an identical wall that needed maintenance. They've had an artist come in there, and it's super cool. It's just super cool. I mean, he was there for a week or two painting that thing, but it's super cool.
You want to see impressive, look up Lake Placid, Florida. The whole city has got murals all over. That's what they're famous for, and they're no bigger than Lansford.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't even know if they're as big as Lansford, actually, as far as the downtown. But every store has a mural of some sort painted on the side of the building. Those are some of the things the RC stuff told us that, you know, might help me look better. I know I've been asked by the pharmacy, could they paint a mural on it as far as the art group and so forth and so on. And, you know, one thing about it is, I've been here, well, I've been here all my life, of course, everybody knows that, but been in this position for going on 19 years, and I have had so many people stop at my mailbox and say, what are you guys doing to Langsford? What do you mean? Well, I grew up here in the 1940s, blah, 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 and it don't even look like the same. You guys are doing something. And then we start talking about the whole status and, you know, what's going on. And they just said, man, I couldn't believe this was my hometown. Excuse me, you've been gone for 40 years. It's your hometown? So that's the kind of feedback we're getting on the street. Amanda's telling us she moved here 20 years. She hasn't seen. That's what we really want.
this thing out here is gonna be Especially the time and effort she's put in to try to get, and people are wanting to get out in the first. So just think of what that's gonna do. I mean, that's gonna hit a home run, I think. That's gonna take.
We already have, so we're gonna have, the movies on Wednesdays, and then we're gonna have music on Fridays. And now, Liskey has stepped up and wants to do music, in July on Saturdays. We're also gonna have, we had somebody call today that they wanna do like their annual meeting there and use the pavilion, you know, and use it's the Shiawassee County Regional Chamber of Commerce. They wanna do a meeting over there and like do their announcements from that and stuff. And so we were already picking up things. It's, you know, we're just working through it. We don't really know what it all is gonna look
Stumbling
like yet,
through it.
but
Is the
it's
high
got-
school been over there?
the high school is, they're doing their play there.
Oh, cool.
So they're gonna be our first actual event, there. I think it's the 7th and 8th.
At the Mother's Day weekend.
Of May?
Yeah, and then it's the following weekend's their rain date, but it's been so much fun to watch those kids come over here every day and practice. And then today they finally, the first day they brought their props and stuff, and they're just having a great time with it, you know, so, and
That's awesome.
the teacher's super excited because these kids haven't been in front of an audience in a year, so, you know, the school isn't ready, and so they're super excited to be able to do it, and, we've been working with them to do whatever we can to support their project, and
Is this the circus or the festival coming to town?
yeah, May is gonna be, Memorial Day weekend.
I got asked today about it. They said, well, is there, I said, I don't really know.
So
I said, I
far,
heard-
we're planning all of our events this summer as if it was normal. I mean, I know normal is different now, but right now we're planning the pancake breakfast, planning the music, the movies, the festival, all of that is gonna happen. So it's something really
I seen an
crazy.
ad on TV last night for Potterville advertising the Gizzard Festival. But, just for clarification, so people maybe understand, the chicken dinner for the Lions Club this year will be on Mother's Day weekend and Mother's Day.
Oh,
Right on
And
that
the
weekend.
carnival
And
will
it-
go through Monday.
Right, and the carnival will go through Memorial Day
Memorial.
weekend and.
So it's gonna start on Thursday and go through
Yes.
Monday? Okay.
Yes, they supposedly bringing in some bigger rides and stuff because it is Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know the whole status
Well,
of
I
it.
think
but-
it's different too, because somebody, I mean, the other weekends we've had to share with Durant. And
Right.
so now that, those will be different, so we'll get different rides and more rides, so. And then you guys need to put on your calendars, next month, you'll end up meeting us a little bit early. Instead of the last Monday, because the last Monday's Memorial Day, so then we're gonna meet the 24th or whatever it is.
Monday before the holiday.
Do you need to know if we'll be absent?
Yeah.
Absent?
Yeah.
I think I'll be absent. I'm pretty sure.
I think I'll be
sorry,
there.
what?
That sounds a lot like you'll just be.
That's
out.
not, it's not a, it's not- it's not an organized.
I guess I have.
Depends on the weather, right?
I told Paul a couple times I should have been absent, but
If it's sunny and 80, I won't be here.
Yeah.
Nope, I won't be absent.
I think the only thing we'll have is to hammer out the budget.
Well, and I think we need to finish up the DDA plan. I intentionally did not put that on this agenda because I thought, you
Thank
know,
you.
you
You
guys
like
were
that.
gonna, yeah. So we need to finish that up, but if it doesn't get done to June, it doesn't get done in, you know, to June, so.
Okay.
But sometimes hammering out the budgets, I know, so.
yeah,
7:20.
motion, to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Good job. Not too bad.
It wasn't even as bad as the flowers.
All day long.
I had this sitting at the table for the
Been there all
last 3
night.
days, and she goes, what are you doing? I said, I gotta go over this. Oh, it's correct. She goes, your DDA meeting is gonna be all night, huh? Well,
I was thinking all day.
I said, it's not flowers, so we might be able to get out of there.
Well, are we on or off?
I think still on there.
No.
All right.
That's why it's turned on over here.
all this in here, Dave, or didn't you do it?
Yes?
Yeah.
Over the COVID.
COVID. This was our COVID job.
The COVID project, essential workers.
Perfect.